Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Leia's lightsaber, the Force FX Black Series lightsaber, I've got it. And you know what? I'm going to compare it to another Force FX lightsaber. I'm going to compare it to a different Legacy lightsaber, not the Leia one because I don't really collect replicas, but I'm also going to compare it to a Neopixel and kind of see how that all stacks up. So, let's get into this thing. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dano channel. I am Dano and I've got the new Star Wars Black Series Force FX lightsaber, Leia Organa. This thing is gorgeous. It's pretty. It's got its little rose gold and all this beautiful business. Now, this was sent to me by Hasbro. A couple weeks back, they sent me this big old box full of lightsabers. There was Lightsaber Forge? There was this Force FX Elite. There's a bunch of like Mission Fleet toys, a bunch of cool stuff that they sent over. So big thank you to Hasbro for sending this my way. Now, you might be thinking like, wait a minute, this isn't a new lightsaber. Technically, this came out in like June, I think June, July. People started getting them if they pre-ordered. And so I did not pre-order this. Again, I'm reviewing it because they gave it to me, and I'm like, well, that sounds fun. They didn't ask me to say anything. They said, here's a cool box full of stuff. Do what you want with it. And I said, you know what I want to do? I want to compare this to the other Force FX lightsaber that I have, the Revan saber, and kind of see if the features are the same or what the differences are. Because this was from like a year or two ago, and this one's it's newer. So I'm wondering what changed, what the differences are. But also, I have Sabi's lightsabers, and I have a Legacy. I have one Legacy lightsaber, the one from Galactic Star Cruiser, not even Galaxy's Edge, Galactic Star Cruiser. So I wanted to take a minute, and I wanted to compare how the blades look. You know, just really go through that. And I also have a Neopixel. It was sent to me from Saber Forms. So I want to put all of them kind of up to the test as far as the features that this thing goes. Because for me, when I see Force FX Hasbro, and it's something that they also sell at Galaxy's Edge as a Legacy lightsaber, my first thoughts are Force FX Elite is better. Is always better because it does more. Whereas Legacy lightsabers from Galaxy's Edge are just kind of meh. They don't really do anything. They don't really have features. Their buttons are always weird. The actual lightsaber blade glow itself is just kind of whatever. So, we're going to take a look. We're going to compare how some of that stuff works. You good? But first, let's take a look at the outside of this box. Okay, so big wide angle here. Here we go. Leia Organa Force FX Elite lightsaber. Sorry if there's any distortion. I am using a wide angle. So it's talking about some of the little features there, how it ignites, how it's got a blaster deflection, how it's got like a clash effect, and it's got this wall burn, and it does it all with no words. There are no words on there. It just does it with pictures. Star Wars Black Series. Look at that beautiful artwork of Carrie Fisher tipping her hat, looking over. This is for ages 14 and up. Licensed sounds requires three AA batteries. Force FX Elite, and there again the artwork on the side. Is there anything else going on this box? These boxes are always kind of funky shaped. What do we got going on here? Let's flip it. Let's flip it and see what we got going. All right, so we've got Leia Organa Force FX Elite lightsaber combining advanced LEDs and amplified sound technology. Force FX Elite lightsaber is the most authentic Force FX lightsaber yet. Okay. Progressive ignition. Cool. That's a little ignition we saw earlier. What is that one? Blaster deflect. Neat. Clash effect. Battle clash effect. Advanced LED, so it should be maybe light up better than other ones. I don't know. Authentic lightsaber sound effects. Cool. Removable blade. Very nice. Display emitter versus regular. Okay, so it is a thin neck. So to display, it's going to be this thin neck that doesn't hold a blade, but there will be a thicker neck that you use the blade with that does hold. Yep, see, there's an example right there. Molten blade tip effect. That's really cool. I always like seeing that. And then what do we got here? Real metal hilt. Display stand included. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so I did want to give you guys a nice close look at this saber. You guys can see some of the details here. It is gorgeous. There's a lot of neat details on here. The sculpt on it, the actual like ornamentation of it, I think is beautiful. It's a nice looking saber. You gotta look at the bottom there. Okay. I don't love stickers, but you do have to unscrew this one screw to get to the battery pack. And yeah, I like this. It's got a good heft in the hand. It feels good. Now, something about that gold this kind of like, I don't know what you call it. It's like a rose gold foil they put on there. While it is metal, it doesn't feel the best. It just feels like, kind of like a cheap sticker almost. Almost. Up here it doesn't. Down here it does. And one thing to note is in the difference on this, between this and the Galaxy's Edge version, is these little inlays right here. They're not pearl. The ones at Galaxy's Edge are pearl. This one is not. They're more of just like a kind of cream colored inlay. And so that's a big difference to me. And I think it's actually a good thing, because the ones from Galaxy's Edge, the Legacy Sabers, they start to peel up. And they start to like buckle and bend over time, which is a major problem, especially when you're spending this much money on a lightsaber. Okay, and since we've seen the saber itself, I did want to show off the display stand that it comes with. It's kind of nice that it comes with this cool display stand. I think this looks good. It's got a special slot here for the D-ring. So the D-ring actually slides right into that slot, and then the lightsaber can sit comfortably. I have it backwards, actually. Let's swap that around so we can slide that right in there. And then this fits like so. And there we go. Our lightsaber, our beautiful, beautiful lightsaber. Again, just look at the details on this thing. Now this, like I said, it does... I just want to show you guys some of that detail. It just feels a little bit like a sticker almost. Like maybe I could peel that off if I wanted. I don't know. Oh, what is that? That's kind of like scuffed already. See, it's already kind of scuffed. Maybe it's the glue somebody got on there, but this whole one has a little bit of glue on it. Not all of them do, just that one. Again, I like it. I think it looks good. But if something about this doesn't feel as metal, is like maybe the middle does. The middle feels super metal to me. So, and there's just a look inside. And this is the adapter, of course, with the thin neck for display purposes. And just to put that next to the Revan saber, kind of move all my stuff out the way there. There we go. There you go. I'm just kind of taking it's basically the exact same stand as the Revan saber. Exact same stand. There you go. I've got the Revan one with a blade ready to go. Let's swap this thing out, put a blade in there, and you guys can actually see some features. So, first thing I want to show you is the Leia saber. See how that thing lights up? It's gorgeous, right? It's beautiful. You can kind of see the effects as they happen. This is just a blaster deflection. You can see where it goes dark on some parts. This is the clash. See how it lights up different? It's a little bit bigger radius. This is the clash. Okay. And this is the wall burn, the tip, where it's like a molten tip. Okay, looks pretty good. Now, for comparison, I'm going to show you the Legacy Saber. This is a Legacy Saber. Slightly modified, looks a little bit dim in comparison. If we want, I can throw a better blade on there. Okay, so for a fairer comparison with the regular blade, here we go. You can see it's a lot dimmer than the Hasbro lightsaber. A lot dimmer, but much louder. Okay. Now we've got a Neopixel. This is from Saber Forms. Ready for this? That's a little extra. It's a little bit much. But it's one of the blue fonts. It sounds kind of like a pod racer. Okay, it's got some interesting effects. But just for brightness comparison, take a look at that. Neopixel is super, super bright. Legacy lightsaber is really pretty weak. And then we've got the Hasbro Force FX lightsaber, which is kind of mid. And we've got a red one. This is the Revan from a couple years ago. And this one's fine. This one actually holds up pretty well, too. It's a decent brightness. A bit brighter than the Legacy, that's for sure. But one of the things I want to look at... Okay, Neopixel. And of course, the Neopixel is going to be super loud. The way it lights up is just going to look so much better. But I do want to look at how they ignite. And see that, how it ignites? How smooth that is. I'm going to turn all of them off. And let's just look side by side at them igniting. It's just not as good with the Legacy sabers. So I do want to compare now, and kind of move these off to the side. I want to compare the Revan versus the Leia. Okay, Revan ignites a little faster. That's fine. I'm going to put them both out. And Revan's a bit louder. Now, let's look at the clash. Okay, so the clash is a very specific point on the blade for the Leia saber. For the Revan, it's the entire blade. The whole blade lights up white for a second. Okay, let's do the blaster bolt deflection. On the Leia saber, it flashes white and then fades. See that fade that it's got? On the Revan saber, it like opens up. It's like a door opening in white. So, a different style of blaster bolt deflection. Now let's look at the molten tip. Whoa, that's a huge difference. In fact, that's kind of a downgrade. Look at that. The distance on that for the Revan saber is so much bigger than it is for the Leia saber, and even just the way it moves looks so much better on the older saber. Alright, let's change color to purple. So now we're purple, a little closer in color. And you can tell, yeah, that's the difference in blaster bolt deflection. And then here we go again with the molten tip. So interesting that they've kind of downgraded that feature in the newer saber. Okay, so overall, better than a Legacy for a couple of reasons. Sounds better, it's brighter, it doesn't have the pearl, but it also doesn't have the issues where it peels up. I haven't seen anybody online crying about their Black Series Force FX Elite peeling up on those little inlays. With the Legacy one from Galaxy's Edge, oh yeah, lots of people have that problem. That's a pro for this, I would say. The actual metal rose gold kind of portion itself, I think does look a little wonky on here. It does. It doesn't feel. It feels like fake chrome. So like I've got door handles in my car that have like this fake silver. They're not really metal, they're plastic, but they have like a little thing. And on the passenger side one, it's starting to peel up a little bit just over time. And you can tell it's just like a chrome peel on like heat shrink thing they put on there. And so that's what this feels like. Like that kind of fake, it's not, the hilt itself is metal, but it's not like this rose gold is the entire metal. It's just the same metal and they just kind of put a sticker over it to give it that feel. That's what it feels like. So in that sense, I feel like it's a little bit cheap. In this sense, notice this part right here. Oh, maybe you can see it. There's a little portion right in the middle. This little thing, this gear. In the middle, that is metal that is either painted. I think it's probably just paint. I can't tell. I think it is just painted. But it looks better than the foil. It looks better than the foil they put on the outside. So you can tell one is foil and you can tell one's paint. And maybe this video clip will do it justice, but I want to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so the part with all the texture, that's painted, and I think that looks better than this part that's foil. I think this part up here in the circle looks better than the foil on the sides. That does not look as good as the paint, and I would have rather them just painted it. Okay, that said, all of my critiques, comparisons, it's a little weaker sounding. It doesn't sound as loud as the other one. The wall burn is not as big as the older Revan one, and I'm not sure why that decision was made. But I do like the blaster deflection more. So it's kind of a this and that kind of deal. Overall, I gotta rate it rad. I gotta rate this thing rad. I still like it. Even with the thicker neck, I think it looks good. It feels good in the hand. I wish it had better motion response, more like swing. I've been spoiled with the Neopixel stuff. If you want to know more about that pod racer crazy Neopixel that I showed off, let me know. I haven't done a review for it yet, but if you want, I can do a review for it. But as for this one, I want to know your thoughts, guys. Is it a thumbs up for you? Is it a thumbs down? Is it sad? Is it rad? For me, it's rad. It's rad, but just barely. Not just barely. I do like it. I don't like replicas, but I like it. I do like it. I think it's good. It is rad. It's not barely rad. It's rad by a decent amount. I enjoy this saber. I think it's really cool. Again, big thanks to Hasbro for sending this out. I'm going to enjoy this one. This one's going to go back on my shelf. I have this little shelf back here, this little thing, where I keep my Legacy saber from Galactic Star Cruiser. I keep the Revan, and this one's getting a place there too. And I just like the stands, the whole presentation. $265 is what it costs retail. I think you can get them on Amazon a little bit cheaper for like $250. I'll put a link down below. But guys, this is, I like it. I like it. It's earned a place on my shelf. Can I do it without it booping and drooping? Cool. Let me know your thoughts down below. And you know what? Check out this video because YouTube thinks that you're gonna like watching it, and I think you will too. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, don't be a moof milker. Be the spark.